Yo, what's going on, everybody? Just straight to the Boston here, aka the King of Boston. Today we are back for episode 4 of the Pacers, MyLeague here at NBA 2K15, and we are pulling off a few trades. Now, this team right now is 19 and 22, and I decided that I wanted to make some moves because I was a little bit disappointed almost in how well we were doing, because I was kind of hoping to be like a bottom 5 team, but instead it looks like we're going to be pretty middle of the pack. So I originally started shopping around players again, looking to blow up the team and make it a lot worse, but I actually came upon a couple really good packages. I will talk about them in a moment, but we end up acquiring Tristan Thompson, Harrison Barnes, and let's kick it to Ernie and Shaq.
Sports pregame show, presented by Sprite.
Hello again, everybody. This is Ernie Johnson. Welcome to 2K Sports. Glad to have you with us, and the legendary Shaquille O'Neal sitting alongside. And coming up in just a bit, tip-off will be live from Charlotte as the Hornets go up against the Indiana Pacers. For Indiana, 6 wins in their last 10 games. They'd like to play even better. Tonight, a chance to add to their win total. You know, a guy who's really improved, especially on the rebounding side, is Tristan Thompson. What do you think?
Well, he can bang inside. He can move his feet on the wing, and he can play with that high motor, Ernie.
He did what?
He can play with a high motor.
I want to see that again. Is that like a motorcycle or something?
No, that's the lawnmower.
Wow, what kind of lawnmower do you have?
The thing with the thing on the end.
Well, you may need to
The
take
weed
that thing
whacker.
in and have it. May need to get that thing tuned up. Let's go to Kevin Harlan.
The weed whacker.
I love that. That was good. That was good.
Alright, so we are taking on the Charlotte Hornets. I'll set this gameplay up a little bit before I go in depth into what moves we made. But yeah, we're taking on the Hornets in Charlotte. I don't know what their record is. I do not remember, but they do have Lance Stevenson this year. They were a team that I thought was going to be really good this year, but they're only like 4 and 12, I think. They've played something like 9 Western Conference teams though, and I think they're playing another one tonight maybe. So, yeah, we'll see when they start playing some more Eastern Conference teams if they can get hot. But this is a team I had a lot of expectations for. They built a really good defense behind head coach Steve Clifford, which I didn't think was possible around a center like Al Jefferson. But anyway, Lance Stevenson should have only helped that, but it seems like they, I think maybe offense is the problem, because at least just guessing, because I see a lot of their scores are like in the 80s and 90s. So, I don't know, we will see. But on the trade, so I did end up pulling off the Jan Mahimni for, or no, I think I did the CJ Watson for Steve Blake in a first-round pick from the Portland Trailblazers. I was able to pull that up, but when I went to do the Mahimni one for Kamen in a first-round pick, was not able to do it, so I went around and started shopping some guys and ended up finding trade packages for Nikola Mirotic, Tristan Thompson, and Harrison Barnes, and I decided I was going to do the Harrison Barnes one, and then I was deciding between Mirotic and Thompson. I went with Thompson because he seems like he's the more steady rebounder, and that is probably what I want out of my power forward. Mirotic probably a little bit better of a scorer. Does neither of which are going to be great defenders, but I thought Thompson, I took Thompson as the guy who could probably get me 12 and 10 over the guy who could get me maybe like 14 and 6 or something. So anyway, I went with Thompson, and what I plan on doing with those guys is not necessarily building around them. Now, they are nice pieces that I think we could build as like secondary use, as secondary pieces in a starting lineup with like Paul George and maybe Roy Hibbert, maybe a guy like Marcus Solomon, maybe like a Goran Dragic point guard. Like, I think that's a pretty good lineup, but what I think I could also use them for is as assets, especially on draft day. I think a guy like Tristan Thompson or a guy like Harrison Barnes is a guy you can use as a chip to trade up in the draft. So if we do have the Trailblazers pick, and let's say we end up with the 13th pick in the draft, we could maybe package those 2 picks with Tristan Thompson or Harrison Barnes and move up to like into the top 5 or something like that. So at the very least, we can use guys like that, or we can use those guys like that. But they could also turn out to be pieces for the future of this team. They're both pretty good young players. Neither of them are perfect. They both have pretty big flaws in their games, but still pretty nice players who can do some things. And I think overall I was pretty satisfied with the moves we made. We just, you know, are sort of asset collecting, and that's something that I do like to do when I rebuild teams. Collect as many assets as you can, and then when the time is right, you flip them for something that's going to help you, or someone that's going to help you win a title. So anyway, here's a freeze frame right here to get into the gameplay. So right here, this is a nice fast break by Donald Sloan. He realizes that we don't have numbers. The Hornets have 2 defenders back, so Sloan's going to drift off into the corner here instead of trying to attack the basket. He's not a great finisher. He knows his strengths and weaknesses, so he settles for the mid-range there. Now, really, he should have gone for the three-pointer in the corner, but we'll take the mid-range anyway. But it's been a slow start to this half. As you can see, we end up heading into the halftime down by 11 points. Heading into halftime down by 11 points. 51-40 is the score. You can see Barnes leading the way with 12 points. He had 10 in the first quarter, I believe, but only 2 in the second. Jefferson already has 10 rebounds, so we are still getting killed on the boards, and I think that is the Roy Hibbert effect. But Brian Roberts has a 4 assists for the Charlotte Hornets. He leads the way from both sides. And now we're into the third quarter. CJ Miles with the ball, giving it to Harrison Barnes. Barnes let a crossover move. He ends up just flipping this one up and actually getting it to go. A nice and one right there from the third year small forward out of UNC. But CJ Miles in the corner for 3 there. CJ Miles has really stepped it up these last couple games. He's typically scoring between like 15 and 20 points now. I'm not sure if that's reflecting in the simulation, but in the games I play, that's pretty much what he's doing. And now it's 57-51. Donald Sloan with the ball, driving in. He's going to end up getting that one to go off the glass, making it a 4-point game. So we have come back here. We have started out this half on a 13-6 run. But here is Lance Stevenson in the post, and check out this fadeaway, like behind the backboard almost. Lance Stevenson, so good. I would love to pick him up at some point in this association or franchise. I'm not really sure if logistically it makes sense, but he's the type of player that I do enjoy using in this game. He can do a lot of things, and he's only 23 years old. He's got all the talent in the world too. So 63-260. Here's a nice fast break, and Stevenson showing off the athleticism, slamming it down in the nice pass from MKG, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Now, nice pass from Harrison Barnes down low to Miles. That was a Monty Ginobili-esque fastball right there down to Miles, and he lays it in off the glass. Now it's a 3-point game, but Al Jefferson in the post, so hard to stop. And really, Roy Hibbert cannot get it done one-on-one like that. Gonna have to double if you want to stop him later on in this game. Here's Amari, though. He's the guy we picked up for David West and George Hill. It's the other thing I didn't talk about. We had Shane Larkin. We got Shane Larkin in that deal, but I ended up flipping Larkin and Rudez, and I think the Barnes... It was either the Barnes or the Thompson deal. I don't remember which one, but either way, we did get Amari. And Amari is a guy that, since I've started using him, I actually, he's got the massive contract, and he's sort of got a bad, I guess, stigma to him since getting that contract, and suffering all the injuries he's suffered in this game, sort of diminishing since he's been with the New York Knicks. But he's going to be 33, I think, or something like that at the end of this season. And if he was willing, I would actually think about bringing him back, maybe giving him the mid-level exception and having him be our third big man, because he is really offensively talented. As Al Jefferson drains that 3 in my face, that was pretty frustrating. Trying to come back in this game, but Stoudemire is a guy that I might try to bring back next year. If he would take something like the mid-level exception, he could be maybe our third big man. I think that would be a really good role for him. But here is Whittington passing out to Amari, and Amari's going to knock down that jumper. So we are within 6 right now. But Kemba Walker with the ball on offense. You know how clutch Kemba Walker is if you've watched some of his highlights. Obviously, he had that game winner in the Big East tournament back when he was in college, his senior season. I don't know if it was his senior season, but his last season there. And then he's had a couple game winners in the NBA too. But that was some pretty good defense right there. We had a nice little trap going on Lance. He couldn't get out of it for a moment, but Jefferson breaks free. Lance feathers the pass into him, and Jefferson ends up hitting the jumper. So now a 12-point game after that jumper. In this one, looking like it might be all but over. Sloan with the ball, giving it to our man Thompson right there. He ends up getting to the line, but still down by 10 at this point. Here's Barnes on the fast break, only 2 minutes to play. Barnes trying to get in there after a quick first quarter. He really struggled throughout the rest of the game. Does end up getting an assist right there. I think he almost had a triple-double. I think he maybe had 10 assists and 9 rebounds, but Miles on the pull-up. He'll get that to go, but that only makes it a 7-point game, and with less than 24 seconds to play, the Hornets will run out the clock and pick up the victory. So the Charlotte Hornets win. The Pacers fall to 19-23. I'm going to have one more episode before the trade block, so we still have a couple guys who might try to flip. Like, I think I'll try to trade Chris Copeland, and I'll continue to shop around guys like Roy Hibbert. And I don't think I actually showed it, but if you were wondering, Rodney Stuckey did break his leg. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. I think he's going to be back right around the time of the trade deadline. If he does get healthy, I would like to try and shop him around, see if a team will take him. If not, I might end up buying him out at the end of the year. But anyway, I don't think I showed that in the video, although I probably should have. But yeah, he was out 6 to 8 weeks, retroactively dating back to probably a couple weeks ago at this point. So he will be back soon, though. It's not like a Paul George break. He's not going to be out for the year or anything like that. But here's the box score. You can see Big Al just dominated, 27 and 17, and then Stevenson and Kemba also had pretty good games for the Hornets. But that is pretty much going to do it. So I will try to have episode 5 out tomorrow. In fact, I already do have it recorded, so I should be able to have it out tomorrow. But that is pretty much going to do it. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy, and I will talk to you guys later. I'm out. Peace.